speaking with here today?
Ms. Karpenski. I'm the learning support teacher at AOSR.
How long have you worked here?
This is my first year.
And what made you work here?
I was in Japan and I was at a school that wasn't very inclusive, and so I found a school that was more inclusive, and so I took the leap and just moved here.
How do you think you've helped out AOSR and its students?
I think learning support is an interesting field because it's different, obviously, than like an English or a math teacher, and I think it's important for those to be treated equally, and so my job is to kind of promote that.
And you enjoy helping out the students, or?
Yes, okay. Of course.
How do you think your work has impacted AOSR and its community?
I think it's most importantly directing towards like students individually and building their confidence in school. And so I think that's like the most important part of my job.
Okay. Do you have any memorable stories or moments about AOSR that you'd like to share?
Well, one that comes to mind was just a few weeks ago when a student of mine brought me flaming hot Cheetos from one of the bases, and it was like one of the export items, and it was so thoughtful because it was something I had mentioned at the very beginning of the year during like the fall sports, and so they remembered all this time later that I liked it, and so I think it just shows like the relationships that you build with students like over the course of the year, and especially like students here.
Okay. What do you think makes AOSR unique compared to other international schools?
It's definitely more inclusive than other international schools that I've heard about, or like the one that I worked in, and so I think that's really fantastic to bring in different kinds of learners and a diverse group of students.
So you came here for the inclusivity of its community?
Yes.
If you would like to give any advice to your high school self, what would it be?
I was a very poor student and I barely graduated, and so I think that honestly helped me in the long run. So a lot of times when you think of advice to give yourself, you would like want to change something, but I'm okay with the fact that that was my school experience because I think it helped me in the long run and like is helping me now with my job.
And how did it help you out?
I think that, well, there's a lot of students that I've worked with that are not a fan of school or have barely graduated school. And so being able to like step in their shoes or like have that experience myself, it makes me understand much more like what they're going through instead of looking at it from how I think a lot of teachers tend to look at situations like that.
How would you like to see AOSR change by the next 10 years?
I think since we are an inclusive school, that we should offer a lot of different classes instead of just like the typical classes that any school has to offer. And so like a class like this, like digital storytelling and other interesting classes for students to have, I think like that's really important, and that's what we should add to.
Do you have any subjects in mind? Or?
I think it would be really cool to have like a criminology class. I think a lot of students are interested in that. Classes that students would be more passionate about and like interested in. And I know some students are interested in like math and science and whatnot, but just other classes so you can see what else is out there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.